Yo, pull up a chair, let the real talk begin. Faith on the table where the brothers lock in. Life gets heavy, but we stand our ground. Truth in the room when the circle comes round. No mask, no front, just real man here. Talking about faith through the doubt and the fear. From the grind of the week to the lessons we share. Welcome to the men's round table, pull up a chair. Men's round table series, step inside. Real men, real faith where the truths collide. Voices at the table where the stories get shared. Welcome to the men's round table, pull up a chair.
Welcome back to the Men's Roundtable Series Interview Spotlight. I'm your host, Mr. U. This show is where men rebuild from the inside out. If you're watching us for the very first time, thanks for making us part of your week. This show is a sister to our Men's Roundtable Series podcast, which is growing in popularity. I'm so inspired by this. Every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have a group of men from around the country, even around the world sometimes, who are joining our panel talking about men's issues and things that are germane to men. So we're very passionate and excited about that. So husbands, fathers, brothers and sons, lock in. That show and the Spotlight Show is for you. Our guest today is an entrepreneur, 5-time best-selling author, speaker, men's mentor, and of course, founder of the True Man Life Coaching and the American Family Renaissance, as well as the host of the True Man podcast, Mike Van Pelt, MVP.
Yeah, there you go. You got it, man. You nailed that. Good job. I got to say.
And you're the man. Glad to have you here, brother. How are you?
Yeah, man, I'm great. You have the best intro music that of any podcast I've been on.
All of our shows, I'm so attached. I'm so married to them now. All 4 or 5 of the shows they have such a. I just get excited about it. I get pumped once I hear the music. I'm locked in.
Yeah.
Good to have you here, Mike. I'm so excited about the convo, man. I'm so excited to talk to you. We get some pick your brain on some stuff that's definitely germane to men, but definitely important to me as well. Let's kind of jump in right from the gate, man. You talk about helping men kind of move from kind of just getting through life and just kind of just drudging their way through to living with clarity and being I guess agents of change externally, but also change in their own world as well. What in your life happened that sparked that kind of mission for you? What happened in your life?
Well, it was figuring out that you could have an intimate relationship with Jesus Christ. And at the same time you're doing that, you could take a good hard look at the mirror and have a relationship with yourself, and when you introduce yourself to Jesus and you introduce yourself to your authentic you got a fighting chance. And so, for me, I had gotten into the men's arena. There was a lot of things missing in my life, but I got into men's small group. And when I really got deep with it, I had a partner. We were doing a group back in South Carolina, which we named True Man. So you see the True Man theme throughout. And wait a minute.
It's here?
South Carolina. Paul Bailey and I met when I lived in Spartanburg, South Carolina. And we started a men's small group there. And we really started going deep. And, where most men hang out is on the shallow end of the pool, right? Because dipping your foot into something deeper than that might actually be dangerous. And so we wanted to be dangerous because we wanted a life of more. We wanted to understand what was all this conversation about freedom going on. And we wanted to experience that. And so we really got connected with some mentors who introduced us to some things. And the demarcation point for me, if there was one, happened at a men's retreat weekend with about 300 guys. Now, I've been a Christian all my life, full disclosure. But there are things that happen or don't happen or you don't experience while you're going to church sometimes. And it was really at that retreat weekend where the camp director said, we're going to play 3 worship songs this morning. I want you to hear these songs as God singing them to you. And they played the first worship song, which is not really a worship song. It's a song from Josh Groban called You Are Loved. Now, if you've not heard this song, I encourage you to go hear it. It's a beautiful song. In that moment, I heard God say to me, I want an intimate relationship with you. You're my beloved son. Okay. And I remember just looking around the room going, did anybody else just get that? I mean, and the things that were circulating through my mind were things like, if anybody else just got this, where do they go? Who do they talk to? And so the seeds had long since been planted, but that moment was the moment where I began going deeper and trying to even deeper with me, but deeper with my relationship with Christ. And nothing has been the same for me since that retreat back in 2019. And I tell people all the time, you know, we live in a now world. You know, everybody wants something now. It's all about speed. I went to that retreat in March of 2019, and I'm still unpacking what happened from that day. But I can assure you this, you and I would not be talking. I would have never been an author. I would have never been a speaker. I would have never been working on many things that I'm working on now had that event not occurred. And I was ready for it. I was in action. I was preparing for it. And the beauty of it is what I realized, it's not mine to keep. Whatever I receive, I can't wait to hop on the next phone call and pour it out into somebody else.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's what I've learned to do. And that's why I love working with men, because many of the men that I come in contact with have never had anybody pour into them. It's a foreign concept to them. And
you get it is.
And so, you know, but that's how that's a kind of a short Reader's Digest version, of you will, of my story, and that moment where, hey, everything changed. That switch went off, and here we go.
I love it, man. As a men's content creator, producer, we talk a lot about midlife transitions. We talk a lot about identity and purpose seeking.
Yeah.
The role given to us by others, the unwritten playbook on what a man is supposed to be. When I asked you how to define true manhood, not just so much idealistically, but when I actually define true manhood, kind of as something that is tried and tested and is real and germane to us, how would you define that? Because there's others that are trying to define it for us and tell us what it should look like and put stipulations on it. How do you define true manhood, MVP?
This is always a challenging question for me to answer, because I think everybody is so unique and so different. And I went in search of a definition at one point. I'm like, what is the definition of what I'm doing? How am I supposed to answer what a true man is? And so here's what I came up with. So true man is taken right out of scripture. That is Jesus Christ walk on earth as a true man. And that captivated me when we were trying to name our men's small group. Not because we're striving for perfection. Only Jesus can achieve that. And Jesus is the only one that has achieved that. But it wasn't the achievement of perfection. It was following the model. And so, you know, this idea of how Jesus approached the disciples with a couple of really simple words that have transformed the world in many ways, right? Because the disciples, Jesus set he taught for 3 years, and then he sent 12 guys out into the world who were fishermen. It's not like they went to college and got some master's thesis degree and, you know, the Bible. These guys were fishermen. They were woodworkers. They were carpenters. He sent them out into the world, and now we have, I don't know, billions of Christians everywhere, and we're still out, you know, trying to tap into that. But it all started with a couple of words. Follow me. Follow me. And I think, that's where you start on the definition of what is a true man, what is masculinity. Follow me. Jesus gives us the examples, and the Bible gives us the examples, the fruit of the Spirit. And some of the things that I have coming up, wow, I get to spill the beans here a little bit. That's kind of cool. I've taken the fruit of the, I've got a men's summit that we're going to put out in the fall. And as part of that, I've been working on a course. And part of that course was I realized that one of the things that we don't talk about in the masculine world is the fruit of the Spirit.
Yeah. That's
in fact, I did a Google search when this first came up, and I went out on, I did an Amazon search and noticed that most of the things on the fruit of the Spirit were dedicated to children or teenagers, or were very feminine. And, I thought, okay. And so what I've been working on is I've been doing a little work around the fruit of the Spirit to make it a little bit more, I'm not taking anything out of context, but really from a masculine perspective, what is the fruit of the Spirit? And why is it important for you in order to be the man that you want to be? And then I'm saying a lot to say this. You define what masculinity is. You define how you get to be a man going hand in hand with Jesus in your walk. And I think that's critically important because we all look at this a little bit differently. The ending point is the same as believers, right? We all want to go to heaven. But I think it's very important. I think that we all have a lot of questions in life because a lot of things get thrown at us. It's just called life. And, we weren't promised easy. So do we have the answers to the questions? In many cases, I believe we do. What's been my role as a mentor and a coach? To really just sit around and ask deep thinking questions so you can think through what your answer is. I can't tell you what to do. That's a fixer. You want to fix something? Go fix your car, And so, but we all have the answers inside of us. The beauty of coaching and mentoring is you have somebody to guide you along the way. That's why in sports, there's a coach on the sideline. There's multiple coaches on the sideline, to make course corrections along the way, to help guide you when things get off track. And sometimes just send in a play and we hope it works. If everybody blocks correctly, we may pull this play off, And so I think the definition of me defining it, I like for the people around me, I think it's a great group discussion. Hey, how do you define masculinity? How do you define being a man? And here's the importance of that. We need to have those discussions. I don't need to, I'm just the orchestra instructor at that point. But if we're having those discussions, we're increasing our ability to become better men, better fathers, better dads, better brothers, better leaders. And that's what's missing in this world because we got too much yelling going on and not enough talking. Everybody says they want to be the talker and nobody wants to put their hand up and actually do it.
Yeah.
And here we are.
We got time for hopefully a few more questions if I can make it work. When you were talking, I wrote down reflection and self-awareness. I feel like those are so key. We don't sit down, especially as men, we don't sit down and embrace the silence enough to hear what we need to hear. Everything you're talking about is inward stuff, man. It ain't no books. It's not movies. It really isn't. It's the inward. Even in your reading the word, it's still not outward. It's all internal. And if you don't take enough time to take that look to excavate, if you will, to look deeper than what's on the surface and go and dig deeper, that's where the real treasure is at. That's where the you is at. That's where the best version of you is at. The most purposeful version of you is at. Yeah. We don't take the time to get there, and we're not aware, and we won't reflect.
Some of the best advice that I have received on that is this, and it's very simple, but in this world that wants us to speed up, This is the best advice I've received on that. You need to slow down to speed up.
Yep.
Slow down. That means you're going to have to stop, be where your feet are, and think and pause before you pop off with your mouth.
Is there a time or a moment in your coaching or even on the podcast where you were shocked about something about you that was revealed? Was there ever a time during your coaching or through the podcast work where you discovered something about you that was like, wow, I didn't know that that's how it was?
I think that, well, first of all, we're not static, right?
Yeah.
We have this earth is in motion right now. We may not feel it, but the earth is in motion. Our bodies are nothing more than cells. Our bodies are moving even though we're sitting. So we're moving. We're in action. We're not static people. And if you want to be the best person that you can be, you're going to have to be in action and you're going to be moving. So I'm at a point in my life, I'm 56, and I hear people around me going, well, when are you going to retire? And I'm like, why in the heck would you ever retire? Why, when you can impact the world with some of the stuff that I'm doing, why would you ever retire? And where I'm going with that is this. I'm constantly amazed at some of the things that come out of my mouth, or what I'm feeling, or what I'm sensing, or when I go to events. I love going to, I'm way overdue for a men's retreat, by the way, way overdue, but those weekends always are amazing. A couple of years ago, I went to a retreat. I had nothing on my plate. I had nothing I was really thinking about. I just wanted to attend the retreat, and boom, I got one right between the eyes. And, the beauty of going to men's retreats, at least the ones I've been to, you can go out in the woods for 3 or 4 days, and you're on mission. You're hearing great messages, and you get alone time with God, and you get out there, you put your mobile phone down, you get away from your computer, and you just get focused on you and your relationship with Christ. And you never know what's going to come out of that. You never know what's going to come out of that. And I would tell you that weekend a couple of years ago was incredibly helpful and gave me a massive amount of understanding about who Mike Van Pelt is and what he needs, what he desires in life to be successful. And I didn't go into that retreat thinking anything like that was going to happen. And now here's the best part. And I think this is important. Not only did that happen to me, but in that particular retreat, we broke out into groups. And lo and behold, wouldn't you know it, I'm with another man who was experiencing the exact same thing I was. Now, why is that important? Your story, and guys, now listen to this. This is critical. You bury all your stuff and you hope it never has to come out. Don't do that. Your story is unique to you, but you know what? Someone else has experienced it, and almost every men's group I've been in, I hear something along the lines of this. Oh, you too? Somebody else has experienced something similar, and it's important for you to connect with those people, compare notes, help each other. This is how we become better leaders. We don't do it in isolation.
I like it. All right. With the last 120 seconds or so that we have left in this show, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to think about what you believe is the biggest gap in how men are being formed. So about spiritually, relationally, emotionally. And I want you to speak to the husbands and fathers, the brothers and sons that are listening to this, or will watch the replay, about what the cost of that gap is if it's not addressed. So encourage the people who are watching and listening, and then we'll close the show out. And I have your website up on the screen for you guys that are watching and listening while Mike prepares his answer. www.americanfamilyrenaissance.org. www.americanfamilyrenaissance.org. Go ahead, Mike. Thank you.
So American Family Renaissance is really part of the mission of True Man Life Coaching. And it was really formed out of establishing the keynote talk, The Power of Asking for Help. Why is that important? Because we don't ask for help. and this goes back to the message I had a couple of minutes ago. We just bury our stuff and hope it'll go away. But asking for help is not a weakness; it's a strength. And doing life on your own, how's that working out for you? And so it doesn't matter what your problem is, what your issue is, what your challenge is. God's there for you. And if you get around the right people, they're going to be there for you and they're rooting for you. You got to do the work. But a lot of times it starts by asking, just putting your hand up in the air, raising your hand and asking for help. Simple as that.
Love it. This man is a wealth of knowledge, an entrepreneur, 5-time best-selling author, speaker, men's mentor, men's coach, founder of True Man Life Coaching and the American Family Renaissance. And the website was up on the screen a moment ago, www.americanfamilyrenaissance.org. And of course, he's also the host of the True Man podcast. I'm definitely going to be subscribing to the podcast and the YouTube channel. If you have one, we're going to stay connected. I want to continue to follow your work and support your work. I believe in your work, brother. But thanks for being here. Mike Van Pelt, MVP. That's great for our show. Thank you for being a part of this conversation. I really appreciate it, brother.
Blessed to be here, brother. Thanks for having me on.
The pleasure is mine. If you're watching, listen for the very first time, guys, thanks for making us part of your week. If you're a husband, father, brother, and son, this Spotlight in our Men's Roundtable Series podcast every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Unless the creek rises, we're going to always be there. Thanks again for being a part of the conversation. Jump in the chat. We're here for you. That's our safe space for husbands, fathers, brothers, and sons. Join it. It was made and created just for you. Thanks for being a part of the conversation. That's Mike Van Pelt, a.k.a. MVP. I'm Mr. U. Have a great day. Thanks again for watching and listening.
Men's Roundtable Series, step inside. Real men, real faith, where the truths collide. Voices at the table where the stories get shared. Welcome to the Men's Roundtable, pull up a chair.